What is up, everyone? I am your host, Glock, a first-time host, so take it easy on me today. I know on the graphic you're expecting AP, but him and I just swapped for the day. You can expect AP, Kurt, Gary on the Saturdays going forward, and for Sundays it'll be me, Mangone, and Title. So just so you guys know, going forward, we're gonna plan to have an NBA show every Saturday and Sunday going forward to the end of the season. Now the NFL is over. So yeah, that should be good. Bring you guys the winners. I'm here with Kurt. The sunglasses are on. I'm here with Gary. USA hat is on. How are you guys doing today, Kurt? We'll start off with you.
Good, man. I mean, it's nice to have a slate that's kind of wild already with some unexpected guys being out. And then we got some news as well with the Miami dudes. And I think it'll be a good slate. I'm really looking forward to it.
Cool. Yeah. Gary, any high-level thoughts on today's slate? How's your Saturday going? Building those MMA winners?
Yeah, so I put in 150 in the little $1 tournament. That's all I do in MMA normally. It's just I don't like picking one lineup. So too much can go wrong or right or whatever. So yeah, I dialed that in a few hours ago, ready to get in it and chop it up with you boys.
Yeah, same here. It should be a good one. If you guys didn't see it already, Titletown, DC, they had a show earlier today at 10 Eastern, and they're also going to have a UFC YouTube show every time that there's an event. So be sure to check that out after this show. You probably won't have much time because lock is at 5 Central. But either way, just watch it on 1.5x and try to soak in as much info because those guys have the winners for you as well. Before we get started, is there any high-level thoughts on the slate gear that you want to cover? Any game stacks, any games you want to cross off? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so we need this Miami news to see if Jimmy and the rest of these guys are going to play today. That's pretty big, some pretty important news we're waiting on there. I think, the popular game stack is definitely going to be the San Antonio Hornets game right off Jump Street, the standalone 7:00 game. And then, everybody's going to jam in all the value from Portland, Minnesota. So I think, the massive spread in the Memphis game is going to scare people off of that game, and it could be a way to get a little bit different, especially if Suggs is out. So that's one area that I'm looking at a little bit to get a little bit different on this slate, but we'll see as we chop it up here.
Cool. Thanks, Gary. Yeah. Kurt, anything for you? Any specific game stacks other than San Antonio, Charlotte that you're taking a look at? Contrary options, games you're Xing out?
Yeah, can you imagine that Portland game if it stays close? I mean, a lot of value there. I mean, you can run it back with Ant's already. Is Ant ruled out yet?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
See, give me some Russell, give me some Cat. If it stays close, boom, bada bing, to the top.
Yeah, you got to think Anthony Simons. If you think it's close, you got to be locking him in, right? There's no Josh Hart for Portland.
Simons. Eubank.
Yeah. I will say I've been targeting Portland lately. When Josh Hart has been in, they've struggled so badly to keep games close, and man, they just look bad. But yeah, that's definitely
a leverage thing. No one's going to be expecting that to be close at all.
Yeah, I think like multiple games are like that today, right? You have Orlando, Memphis is a huge spread as well. So those two games especially, have blowout potential in them. And, obviously Golden State, Lakers, the last game of the night, that doesn't have a necessarily large spread, but, the Lakers have just looked terrible as of late. Who would be surprised if Golden State just blows them out? I wouldn't be for sure. I have no idea how the Lakers are going to keep it competitive. So yeah, I think we have an interesting 5-game slate, with, you could arguably make it 3 games, a 3-game slate, or even 2, maybe, if you don't cross off those last 3 games, but yeah, we'll definitely get into it and we'll dive into the winners. Nice to see everyone in the chat. Drew, Coach J41 DFS, Mike, AP 180, Stephen Coy, always bringing the mojo in the chat. Nice to see you guys on a Saturday. Hope to see you guys going forward as well. I guess we'll go ahead and just jump into the first game. San Antonio at Charlotte, 3.5 spread, 237 total, highest on the night. I think, this game, the BigT 7-7 motto will be alive and well for most people tonight. This game is the premier game DFS stack, I think, of the night for me personally. On the injury side, we have basically everyone healthy for San Antonio, so you don't have to worry about that. Devin Vassell, Lonnie Walker, they were questionable, but they're marked in now. On the Charlotte side, you have Jalen McDaniels doubtful, and then you have Gordon Hayward out, of course, and James Bouknight out. Gary, we'll just start it over to you. Any thoughts on this game? Who are your favorite guys, and how are we attacking it?
Yeah, so I mean, San Antonio, right? They're fully healthy. they're going to, I mean, I'm seeing 12 guys here with the minutes projection. So, I mean, I'm just going to stick with the main dudes. It's going to be DeJounte Murray and maybe Podol, even at his elevated price tag. I mean, Keldon Johnson, 6,100. I mean, that's really tough. I mean, outside of one game, a couple games a month, I mean, he's really not paying off that salary. I mean, I don't know, man. I just tend to just stick with the main two dudes on this Spurs team when they're fully healthy. So yeah, it's just going to be DeJounte and Podol for me on the San Antonio side. And on the Hornets side, I mean, I'm going to stick, like I said, even they're opening up their rotation a little bit. It looks like, I mean, normally we're used to seeing 8 or 9 dudes, but I'm seeing 10 guys with the minute projection for them. Yeah, so it's going to be LaMelo, Miles Bridges, and Terry Rozier, and maybe a sprinkling of Oubre. I think Oubre might be a little bit sneaky here. I think he might be the guy that's going to go overlooked. He's only 5,700, and he's coming off back-to-back 30-plus DraftKings point performances. So I think if I had to rank the Charlotte guys, I think I actually like Oubre 1, LaMelo 2, and then Miles Bridges, and then Terry Rozier. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. What's interesting, when I ran the optos before the show, like DeJounte Murray is really not popping that much at all. And I think it's because his price tag's elevated, and you have, guys like LaMelo at 8.5 on DK. You have Karl Anthony Towns at 10.2. So obviously the opto is going to prefer those guys more than, an elevated point guard only DeJounte Murray. But, I love DeJounte Murray. He's averaged like 20 and 10 is almost a lock every single night he plays nowadays, ever since they shipped off their other guys. And basically, this game environment is going to be super up and down. I love this game a lot. You could stack it up in many ways, like a DeJounte, Kelly Oubre stack, DeJounte LaMelo Ball stack. I love. Kurt, what are you thinking? Any interest in the bigs for you on the Charlotte side? I know we didn't touch on them that much, but I'm just curious on what you think.
They stopped kind of like having them both at the same time, thank God, because that was miserable. I think Murray's a lock on FanDuel, right? What is he, 9.8 there or 9.6?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So he's a lock there, but it's like Gary said, it's the top guys for me in this game. Now that everyone's in, it's like, I know it's the highest total, but give me the top guys. We thought we were going to have value in this game, but it didn't work out like that. I like Vassell. He's a Florida State guy, but you don't need the value. So really just top end guys. I like Melo probably a lot more than projection does right now. I think that if he can I always take him, he gets in foul trouble every single time. But I think he's not had one of those ceiling games in a long time. Back at home, high tempo game. Give me a Melo 60 burger.
At 8.5. Yeah. I
exactly. 8.5.
It was weird that he played 8 minutes. Obviously he was in foul trouble. I still think it's a criminal offense. Like when a coach only allows like your technically star player to play that low of minutes. Granted, it was a blowout and he was in foul trouble. Still, like 8 minutes is just super triggering. I highly doubt that will happen again today. So I think, obviously LaMelo will be super rested, ready to go. And I love it. 60 burger. Give me a 60 burger from LaMelo and then 65 from DeJounte. Oh, yeah. A little sneak peek.
Ooh.
All right. If you guys don't have anything else on this game, we can go ahead and move on to the Philly Miami Heat game, which has a -5 spread and 216.5 total. On the injury side, we have a lot of Q tags that we're waiting on here. Obviously for Philly, James Harden is out. So Joel Embiid, becomes a premier spend in a close game. He's just going to go back to his old ways of being the alpha, dominating the post up, soaking up all the usage. And on the Miami side, you have really big Q tags that we need to wait for. We probably won't get it on the show, but we'll definitely need to keep an eye on it because that will basically, could be contingent on whether or not the game can stay close, right? So you have Jimmy Butler Q, Max Struss Q, PJ Tucker Q, Caleb Martin Q, Kyle Lowry's out, Markieff Morris is out, and then Victor Oladipo still out for Miami. So, based on that Q tag news and who's available, we're going to want to either target this game or not, because I think personally, if these Miami guys aren't in, it's going to be a lot to shoulder, on Bam and Hero versus Embiid. I mean, I still think that's a correlation you could consider in tournaments, but it does make it a little more scary to stack the game up. Now, if Butler is in, then, a Butler, Embiid, or, a hero Embiid, that becomes more attractive to me just because, the pieces are healthy for Miami. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on the game. Gary, what do you think? We'll go over to you.
Yeah, I mean, we need to wait on this news on the Miami side. Either way, though, I think on the Miami side, even if Jimmy's in, I think I like Bam the most here. I mean, centers have done well against Embiid on the offensive side of the ball. He's only 8,900. And Jimmy, just looking at his box scores, I hate to be a box score guy, but he only has 150 DraftKings point performance since over the last month. So, he hasn't really been paying off that price tag. Bam is definitely going to be my favorite if Jimmy is in. And obviously if Jimmy's out, we're going to be all over the heroes, and we're probably going back to a Gabe Vincent, even at a 4,900 price tag. So yeah, either way, I like Bam a lot in this spot. And we'll see if he makes it in another part of this show down the road. And on the Sixers side, I'm a little bit different than a lot of the takes I've seen in Discord today. I think a lot of people are going to hop on Maxey. I don't hate the play, but if Jimmy is in, he's just going to be focusing his attention on Maxey the whole time. Ever since Harden's come over to this team, nobody's paying attention. Everybody's paying attention to Harden. Maxey's getting all the open looks, and he's taking advantage of it. He's been crushing. The only thing that worries me about fading or underweight on Maxey is his price tag, because his price tag is still low enough where he can get you 40 pretty easily at that price tag. So I'm leaning that I'm going to be underweight / fade on a Maxey, and we'll see how that goes. But I do like Embiid a lot, and I do prefer Tobias over Maxey in this spot too. So a little bit different take from me on the Philly side. It's going to be Harris and Embiid and nobody else for me, most likely.
Gotcha. Yeah, Kurt, I don't know if you see in the YouTube chat, but we got Big T in there. Can we get a view of that twin bed in Kurt's room? Any comment there?
I'm not at my place right now, actually. I'm at someone else's place, Big T.
Kurt is a nomad.
At the workbench tonight.
There you go. Kurt, any comment on Gary's thoughts about Maxey? Any interest for him and you in this game? And then, what are your overall thoughts on this Philly-Miami game?
No Maxey for me, but Embiid usage goes back up. It's been 26 lately with Harden, goes back up to 42%. Bad matchup, but still 42% usage. The assists go back up. All the rates go back up. Give me some Embiid. I'm actually probably higher on Harris as well, because if Butler's out, I don't really want him Butler because there might be a overlay in a matchup there. But just those two guys. Embiid, Harris, I'm actually going to fade Maxey. I love the kid's game, though. He's a baller, but man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be different from you guys. I love Maxey tonight. I think he's taking that next step. That price is not budging on DraftKings. He could be my play of the day. I'm still simmering on it, but I think Butler's still. I think Miami's a little overrated defensively, and I think they'll be so focused on Embiid, and Maxey will have free runs to the rim, even though Butler might be guarding him. Just my take.
Yep, I can see it. It's just Spoelstra's so good. It seems like his team's always shut down point guards and stuff. But I can see it. The guy's the ball.
For sure. Yep. All right. We'll go ahead and move it on to the next two games, which I think, have huge blowout potential in them. But in that, you'll be able to find source of value. We have Portland at Minnesota, 13-point spread, 235.5 total. Josh Hart is out for rest for Portland. Didi Louzada is out. Justice Winslow is out. Greg Brown is questionable. And we have Brandon Williams probable for the Portland side. And on the Minnesota side, we have Patrick Beverley questionable. He popped up on the injury report today. And then Ant Edwards got ruled out officially. This game, it's interesting. Like Kurt said at the beginning of the show, obviously if it can stay close, you're going to want to get a piece of D'Lo. You're going to want to get a piece of Cat. And on Portland, you for sure need to play Anthony Simons. I cannot see Portland, keeping this game competitive if they do not have Anthony Simons production. So those would be my interests, obviously, on each side of the ball. Gary, what do you think about this game? How are you playing it? Do you think it's going to blow out?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I do like it. I think they can keep it close enough where we get some fourth quarter run out of both of these teams. I do like Simons quite a bit. Minnesota is actually, They've been giving up like the 5th most fantasy points to point guards over the last 7 games. So I think this is an outstanding matchup for Simons to exploit. He's going to be somewhat popular. I mean, this whole game, I think this is actually going to be the highest owned game stat kind of on the slate, just based on the prices on DraftKings. Everybody's pretty, there's a lot of cheap pieces in this game. So it's going to be really popular. So I think I still like, stacking up a little bit that first game just from an ownership perspective and just filling in with these guys. I mean, D'Lo is obviously, he's been playing really good as of late. I like going back to him. Ellaby. Ellaby might be almost a lock button play. Because he's going to be probably blowout proof too, even if it does blow out. He's only 40. Yeah, so he's only 4,100. So like I said, he's got a 28 projection at 4,100. It's pretty hard to get off that. But yeah, so I love this game, but I don't think I want to fully stack it. I think I'd rather stack the first game just from an ownership perspective.
Yeah, that's a good point, Gary. I think if you do run the optos, which I did before the show, I am seeing a ton of Portland getting jammed in. I am seeing a bunch of Minnesota. So that just makes me even want to stack up this first game, San Antonio, Charlotte, even more, just to kind of do, the contrarian outlook of what the opto is pushing out. So yeah, I think CJ Ellaby is also, I listed him as a building block on the playbook. I also do think he's blowout proof. He should get the start. There's obviously no Josh Hart and Justice Winslow. So that raises his outlook, and he's super cheap. What is he, 4-1 on DK? 4-1 on DK, 3-9 on FanDuel. Probably just lock and load him. He should be in line for 30-plus minutes, no matter what the situation is. Kurt, what are your thoughts on this game?
My play of the day is actually in this game on the Portland side. So I'm gonna keep that in the holster for later. You heard me what I thought about at the beginning of the day. I think if it stays within 12, 15, the guys are only going to lose, 1-2 minutes of rotation time at the end. And the chances are, if they're up that big, they probably already got there, So I like it a lot, even for the top, Simon, Russell, Towns, and do 2 values with it. Ellaby is a baller. Watched him in college, like him. You guys covered everything else. I'm going to keep the one in the holster for later. Beverly might be in play. Is he going to be officially rolled out? He could be in play.
He's questionable.
Beasley's going to smash. I saw him in AP's core. Love Beasley. And I like Eubanks as well. I know 4,600. If he gets 25, 28 minutes maybe, if the blowout's kind of later in the game, I think Eubanks could get there as well.
Yeah, so I'm seeing in the chat, the likes are very hurtful. There's 157 watching, only 48 likes. To give out our play of the day, what number do you think we got to get to, guys, to give them out?
We're at 159 now. We need to get at least 100. Can we start at 100 and then work away from there?
Kurt, you agree? 100 a good target for Saturday? First Saturday show, people might be doing stuff. They're not used to the show, being on Saturdays. So yeah, 100. We'll go for 100. So make sure you drop that like, subscribe to the channel. Really helps run Pure out. It helps us give you guys these free shows. So yeah. All right, let's move on to the next game. Orlando, Memphis, another really, really large spread. 15.5. Memphis is favored by 229.5 total. On the injury side, we have Jalen Suggs is questionable. Wendell Carter is out once again for Orlando. So obviously that's a huge bump to Mo Bamba and Chuma Okeke. For Memphis, you have Kyle Anderson questionable, which, could help people like John Concha or Brandon Clark. You have Dylan Brooks out still. And I think that's about it. Again, this is another game with a large spread. So we need to really consider how we play this game out, right? Because obviously John Morant in a close game will smash. I do get a little worried about Markelle Fultz being back into the rotation for Orlando. But then again, Jalen Suggs is questionable, right? So if Jalen Suggs does miss, that's a huge bump to Cole Anthony. Markelle Fultz could, even play even more minutes now. So those two would be in the back. Franz Wagner would get a nice boost if Jalen Suggs is out. So I think we really need to wait on the injury news here before we decide on anything. But again, like I said, large spread, very concerning. If you think John Morant can get there in 3 quarters, then, fire him up. But Orlando is just super bad. And I really am concerned about how they're going to keep the game close. So Gary, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think I'm out on all the Memphis guys. I just don't, I'm seeing some ownership on like Jackson and Bain and a little bit of Melton. I just don't trust them. This game, they might not even touch the floor in the fourth quarter, any of their starters. So I'm not going to be on any Memphis guys here, and I'm kind of waiting on this Suggs news on the Orlando side. I might take some shots on a Fultz if Suggs is out. I mean, he's only 4,500. He's not going to be owned at all. And you got to think he's going to get his minutes, whether it's 15, I mean, maybe it's 20 minutes, but he's going to have increased ball handling regardless if Suggs is out. So I don't mind taking a shot on him here at 4,500 at zero ownership. But outside of that, Bamba at 5,300. I think he's a safe play. I think he's more of a cash play. I think he got in foul trouble last night. I mean, when he was kind of popular, thankfully we got some late news and I was able to, pivot on to Boogie, but yeah, it would be just Bamba and maybe some Fultz if Suggs is out.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I actually recorded Mo Bamba last night and then, I was going out to dinner, didn't get that news in. I wasn't able to swap off Bamba and I saw that he was in foul trouble all night. Luckily he was able to salvage it and kind of somewhat get there, in his limited run. But I think I don't mind going right back to Mo. Obviously in a close game, it is a tough matchup with Steven Adams and whatnot, but in a close game, we're all aware of the upside Mo Bamba could bring. Chumo Kiki should start again, so he's a viable play. Kurt, what are your thoughts on this game?
I'm really curious to see if we'll get like a word on Fultz's minutes. If maybe they come out and say he's going to play 20 minutes in 5-minute bursts, something like that. Like Gary said, I'm cool. If they come out and say he'll get 20, I'm okay with going him at 4 or 5, especially with the ball handling. If Suggs is rolled out, that is. Cole Anthony, if Suggs is rolled out, 6'6", we've seen his ceiling. It's going to be a blowout, but I mean, he can still get 50. He's had those games before, even though it's with everyone out. Still, I like his upside at 6'6". I think even in the tough matchup, Mo Bamba could get off here, and I really like it because he trolled people last night, and I love going back to spots like that. So interested in him. Like, I'm not going to have all these guys together. I'll separate them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll even have a Franz Wagner share, but I'm not going to put like more than 2 Orlando guys in a lineup. Same thing with Memphis. I don't trust any of these guys. This is the one blowout I'm actually, even though I should be afraid of the Trailblazer one, I'm actually more afraid of this one. So I'm with Gary. I'm going to fade Ja. And even though Adams went off last matchup, I'm not going to play him either.
Nice. Yeah. The people are coming through with the likes. We're up to 87. I think we'll be able to get there. Thanks for pumping out the likes for us, guys. One thing I will say, I was looking at Fultz's price, 4,500. I cannot believe that price. It looks like when he came back, he was auto priced to 5K. And then ever since then, he's just been coming off the bench and his price has gone down, slowly since then. I figured like when I look at Fultz's price, he would be like in the 3Ks. 4,500 definitely makes it tougher to stomach for sure. I think if he does get the start, you can consider him. I still think he'll be low owned just due to the price. So he'll be in play like as a tournament punt value for sure. One guy I did want to follow up on with you, Gary, Steven Adams. What are your thoughts on him? He's kind of been on and off. Obviously, that's like, what you're used to. 6'2". He almost hit a 50-point ceiling a few games ago. What do you think about Steven Adams?
Man, and I think this is his highest price in a long time, maybe of the season. No, thank you for me.
Understandable. All right. So we will go to the last game of the slate. Golden State at LA. Golden State is favored by 5.5. The over/under is 228.5. For Golden State, you have Gary Payton II out, Draymond Green out, James Wiseman is out, and Andre Iguodala is out. LeBron has his normal Q tag as always. You can expect him to play most likely. Talen Horton-Tucker is questionable, and Avery Bradley is probable for the Lakers. Like I said, I kind of touched on it earlier in the show, but just watching this Lakers team, it's been painful to watch. Like, I don't know if there's like a worse team to watch in the league for me personally right now. Just seeing the way they play with LeBron on the floor and without, like, you can see he just gets super, super tilted sometimes. Like, he'll have post position and his guys cannot get him the ball. Like, he'll be calling for the ball and like Malik Monk will chuck a 3 or Russell Westbrook will drive straight to the rim without acknowledging him. So, and then LeBron just gives up on the other end and doesn't even run back. So it's definitely tough to watch for sure. And even though the spread is only 5.5, 6, it's like, I really think this one could blow out. Like that's kind of what I'm leaning. When you look at projection sites across the industry, LeBron is projecting pretty well, as always, without AD. So that does scare me a little bit. But, currently my lean right now is to just play this as a blowout. I know AP liked this game, at least from what I was seeing in his core. So I'm curious to see what you guys think. And, Gary, we'll go to you. I know you're a big LeBron fan. So just let me know your thoughts on him.
I will continue to fade LeBron. I'm definitely not a LeBron fan. I think you're giving the big old troll job on that one. But no thank you for me. I likely won't have any of these Lakers in my lineup. It's just been, like you said, it's just been awful to watch. I mean, they're on TV every day. I don't know why they don't flex other games in the national TV games. It's just ridiculous. Nobody wants to watch this. I mean, it's painful. Like, I think my 7-year-old nephew can shoot a ball better than Russell Westbrook. I mean, his shot just looks awful. He's 8,200. Like, no, thank you. All these other guys, Malik Monk, no, thank you. Like I said, I'm not going to have any Lakers, and I'm going to sit back and enjoy watching the Golden State Warriors just pound them tonight. I did want to ask y'all a question, though. Why is Kuminga popping in projections so much? Do y'all have any idea on that?
I think, part of it maybe is blowout. Like he'd get the run there, and he kind of matches well with LA. LA doesn't play big, right? So they can give him a lot of burn off the bench or maybe even start him. So that's kind of my thoughts. But yeah, I was curious when I saw that projection as well.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm probably not going to go there though. The only guy so I will say, like, if this game stays close, I mean, Klay Thompson, the Jordan Pooles, even Steph Curry, they can all just rain the threes on this team. I mean, so if you think the game stays close, you want to get some exposure to Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, and even Kevon Looney at 4,300. I mean, that's really cheap. I mean, this guy plays hard every game. He's playing 25 to 27 minutes every game. He's getting all the rebounds. He's adding in some stocks in there. I think it's too cheap for him in this matchup. I mean, he's just going to be grabbing all the rebounds. So I do like Kevon Looney probably the most on this team.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, one thing to point out is the Warriors, they haven't been playing that well as of late either. They're not in the best of form. Let's see. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost 3 straight. This is a national TV game, so you can expect, obviously LeBron will do his best to get up for the game. And then Steph Curry, obviously on national television, always has the chance to go off. So one thing I do want to point out, Westbrook is on FanDuel specifically, because I know we had some people in the chat like, can we touch on some FanDuel winners? And I know if you're playing on FanDuel, you're going to have that Russell Westbrook question, right? His price just is super low over there. He always pops in projections. What I've been doing personally is I've just been dropping his projection 2 or 3 points, and that will, dramatically reduce the number of times he pops into your 150 or your MME set. So, and it's been working fine for me, right? Because you'll have, instead of having like 50% Russell, which you don't feel too good about, it'll drop him down to like 10, 15% where, obviously he's somewhat mispriced, right? So if he goes off, you have a share of him. And if not, then you feel good about it. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Russell. Kurt, what are your thoughts on this game?
Definitely not playing Russell. With it being a national televised game, and it's been a while since Curry's had one of those like 10 3-pointer games, I could see that being it. He's going to be what's he projected to be owned? Like sub 20, sub 15?
Yeah, for sure.
6-point spread. I could see him raining threes. It's going to be a contrarian spend up. Poole, like Gary said, I like Poole if he can get there. Klay is just meh. It's just he could also have one of those games where he rains threes, but I just don't like going there. Looney in cash, and then Kuminga in GPPs. I mean, this Lakers are gross, man. I mean, what else can I say? Curry to rain some threes. I'll have some him, and then Looney, Kuminga sprinkle in. That's it.
Yeah, for me personally, it's always been hard to target these two teams specifically, like the Lakers as of late, and then the Warriors. They're always hard to target, especially when Curry's not necessarily on his A game, right? Obviously, when he's on his A game, you can always target him for tournaments because his upside is just so high. But, ever since that record, he was trying to shatter that 3 points made record he's been kind of not been shooting that well and not hitting his upside as we're familiar to. So it's like, since that point, I haven't really been targeting Golden State as a whole. And, obviously the Lakers, we know the story about them. So yeah, let me see here. What are we at on likes? Nice. We hit over 100. So that's good stuff, guys. Let me see here. Gary, before we go to the plays of the day, I just want to hear like your high level slate strategy at this moment. I know we don't have the Miami news yet, but just curious on how you're currently going to attack it and, what your main team / core is going to look like just at the top of your head.
Yeah, I think I'm going to focus a little on, concentrate on that first game and just smatter some of the value from the Portland, Minnesota game. I haven't really decided, and that might change with the Suggs news. I might get some faults in there as well, but definitely concentrating on that first game for sure.
Cool. Yeah, Kurt, what I think you're going to be opposite of Gary, where you're probably going to be targeting Minnesota, Portland, with the studs, and then maybe trying to grab value elsewhere. If I'm wrong, let me know. What is the path you're headed in? I'm
going to lock in Ball for the first game. I'm going to find one more piece from that game, but I'm going to wait for all the value till 8 o'clock, till like 7:50, see what's there. So I'm going to lock in Ball, try to get one more piece of that game because the spread's not so nice. Probably run it back with Embiid or Curry in the next, just depending on how news breaks. Probably do want to get Embiid in there though, and then wait for the news till 8. Because then you can. That's what I'm doing. I'm not gonna have my main team's not gonna have anyone in the Lakers game.
Gotcha. Nice. Yeah. So I think for me, I do want to lock in DeJounte Murray. Fairly certain of that. And based on the Miami news and who's in, will dictate whether or not I'm gonna be on Joel Embiid, or if I'm just gonna run it back with one or two Charlotte pieces like LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre. You can really pick any of those Charlotte guys because they're just going to play a ton of minutes. So that's kind of where I'm at studs wise. And then, like Gary, I'm going to probably jam in like Portland value, CJ Ellaby, Malik Beasley is a very strong value play as well. I think those two are my favorite value plays of the slate. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm headed on the night. So yeah, let's go over to the plays of the day. Kurt, we'll start with you. Tanning bed play of the day. What do we got here?
We're going out to Portland. We're going to go Elijah Hughes from Syracuse. He shot 1 of 8 last game, I believe. Let me check that. And that's my type of guys who coming off career worst shooting days. I already have him in here. 1 second. Let's see. Yep. He's the guy who will chuck. This Portland team's going to be down. He shot 8 times last game, made 1 shot. He's probably not matchup proof. He's probably going to be blowout proof. If this guy sees a couple shots go in, we've seen how he did it with Utah. When Utah was, he went for like 48. The guy will chuck, and all he needs to do is see a couple of them go in, and everything else starts coming. Steals, rebounds. He's one of those guys who sees a shot go in, he'll start doing a little bit of everything else. He's a 3K, so let you kind of do the full stars and scrubs for this one. Elijah Hughes, tanning bed play of the day, the first official.
Nice, yeah. So I think last slate that Portland was on, Elijah Hughes got the start. And someone in Discord was like talking to me and I was like, are you not considering him? And I was like, no, not really, because Anthony Simons and Josh Hart are still there. Obviously those two guys are the alpha guys. And when Elijah Hughes was going off for Utah, he was basically with a bunch of other scrubs. And now, I kind of understand the play more because they have no Josh Hart, right? So they kind of do need a secondary option now. Elijah Hughes can chuck it. I like it. Kurt's tanning bed play of the day. All right, let's go over to you, Gary, the groundhog play of the day / Braves homer play of the day. I know it's not baseball season yet, but let's go over to you, Gary. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so I was debating a couple different guys. I think I'm going to go back to this first game. We're probably going to get this guy maybe sub 5%. I'm going to go with Kelly Oubre. I think he drops 40 today. Kelly Oubre.
Tsunami Poppy. I like it. All right. And then I guess I don't have a name for my play of the day yet. I think we're going to need one going forward. So chat, if you guys have any ideas of what you think my name play of the day should be, drop it in the Discord.
I think it's got to do something with a GIF fitting on your face fitting on every GIF perfectly.
It's crazy. And it's so beautiful.
It's got to correlate there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm curious to what people come up with. So yeah, if you have an idea, cause I'll be on the shows every Sunday going forward. So If you have an idea for my play of the day name, just drop it in the chat, drop it in the Discord. Let me know what you think it is. And yeah, without further ado, my play of the day will be Tyrese Maxey. I think no Harden. We'll make people get scared a little bit that, they can zone in on Tyrese Maxey, but I think he's just been playing at a phenomenal level. I think the Miami defense will be more focused on Joel Embiid. So I think Tyrese Maxey is just going to continue his reign. His price on DK is not rising whatsoever. I think you can lock him in at less than 10% ownership and feel pretty good about it. So yeah, I think those are our plays of the day. Elijah Hughes for Kurt, Kelly Oubre for Gary, and me, I am using Tyrese Maxey. All right. So I think we kind of zoomed through that show. Apologies. This is my first time hosting. So, just trying to get the hang of it. Maybe in the future, I'll host more if I get some good feedback. Otherwise, we thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for dropping the likes on the channel. Good luck tonight. As always, pay attention to the Miami news. I think most of the show is predicated on that, right? Like that can completely change the slate. So just be locked in on the Discord. If you're an RPS member and you're not already in the Discord, make sure to try to get in there using our website. Other than that, good luck, everybody, and we will talk to you tomorrow.